Hi
Welcome to
everyone,
yoga
and
with
welcome
my
back
happy body.
to another yoga class with my happy body. This is a 45-minute practice. I'm going to get nice and hot and sweaty, working our core, working our arms a little bit as well. So I hope you enjoy. Let's go ahead and get started. So come to kneeling on your mat, and you can support yourself with a cushion or a couple of blocks if you want to. And then simply close your eyes and take a few slow and centering deep breaths. So you can breathe in through the nose and slowly out through the mouth. And as you take those slow, deep breaths, I'd like you to draw a line under anything that's come before this moment today and start to feel yourself becoming very present, like you're falling into a more yogic frame of mind, one that's calm, one that's accepting, one that is ready to flow with the ups and downs of a vinyasa flow yoga class. And then go ahead and take a few big shoulder rolls. So as you inhale, you can draw your shoulders up towards your ears. And as you exhale, you can roll them back and down. And you might like to do a few of those. Rolling the shoulders back, rolling the shoulders forward as well. And then a big stretch. Reach the arms overhead, interlace the fingers, press the palms up. Then bringing the right hand to the floor beside you and taking your left hand to hold the back of your head. And then take a big breath in. And as you breathe out, bring your left elbow down towards your right elbow. So you're in this sort of side stretch twist. I'm going to go for about 5 of those. So as you inhale, lifting the elbow up and letting your head follow your hand or elbow. And as you exhale, bringing your elbow down toward the right wrist. They probably won't touch. You're just moving in that direction. And then finish that with a big side stretch. So reaching the left arm over to the right or coming back to the center and getting ready to change sides. So both arms up, big breath in. And then landing the left hand on the floor beside you, stretching across to the left, bringing the right hand to hold the back of your head, looking up towards the right elbow, big breath in. And as you breathe out, bringing the right elbow down towards the left elbow, left wrist sort of area. I'm always lucky with this movement and get a lovely few little clicks in my back, which always feels so good. I hope it feels good for you too. So you're going for about 5 of those, letting your head follow the movement, so mobilizing the neck as well. And then finish that in another side stretch. So reach the right arm over to the left and then back to the center. And opening the chest by bringing the hands to the floor behind you, fingers pointing in the direction of your feet. Leaning back into your hands and drawing your heart up, maybe letting your head go back if that feels good. I'm keeping my hips on my heels here. You can lift your hips away from your heels, or maybe you're sat on a cushion or a block. And then sweeping the arms up again, interlace the fingers, press the palms up before coming into a tabletop position. So landing the hands on the floor in front of you and having the knees under the hips, and then just warming up the wrists. So start to draw these little circles with your shoulders over the tops of your wrists. So a few one way, then a few the other way. And then placing the hands differently. So the fingers are pointing out to the sides. I always think the hands look a bit like butterfly wings there, and then circling there as well. So shoulders sweeping around a few times one way, a few times the other way. And then a deep stretch by pointing the fingers towards the knees and maybe rocking forward and backward a few times. As the shoulders come behind the heel of the wrist, the stretch will deepen. So if it's already quite tough, maybe the rock is much smaller. Finally, bringing the top of one hand to the floor. Like to keep the arm quite straight. And again, the more you draw your shoulder back behind your wrist, the deeper the stretch. But look to keep the heel of the hand down and then change sides. So a few breaths on each side. And keep warming up our hands and wrists. So now come to standing on your knees and just start to shake, 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 shake your hands. It should feel a little bit fun. Shake them like you're trying to shake off sticky syrup, and do it with the hands higher than the shoulders. So arms up nice and high. Shake, shake, shake. You might like to imagine you're shaking off the day, shaking off a difficult conversation or something like that. And then, like you were flicking water off of your hands, kind of ball your hands up into a fist and then spread your fingers out really wide. Do that quite fast. It's almost like twinkle, twinkle, little star if you ever did that with your hands. Nice. And then come back to tabletop position. So we're practicing cat cow stretch, these spinal waves where you draw the belly down as you breathe in and you round your spine as you breathe out. Only we're going to do this with a little bit of a punchy breath. So through the nose, inhale, drop the belly. And then through the mouth, exhale, like a powerful exhale, a little bit like you're imitating breath of fire. And so these cat cows feel kind of fast, inhaling belly down, exhaling, rounding the spine to generate a little bit of heat in our body. And breathing in this way helps dispel any stagnant energy. So you might like to connect with that. I always like to think of this as sort of like we were scrubbing a dirty window, and the dirty window is our spine. It's getting this lovely energizing movement through the spine. Inhale as the belly drops, exhale as the back rounds, and you kind of pull the belly in. Last few rounds of these. Nice work. And then when you're ready to, coming into a cow stretch, so drop the belly, lift the tail, lift the heart, lift the chin, look up, take a deep breath in, hold it there. And then a big, powerful exhale, open mouth exhale, rounding the spine, pressing the back of the heart up toward the ceiling. And then heading into some wild cat movements. So really just creating any shapes that feel nice for your body. And remembering to incorporate some movement for the neck as well, and relaxing the jaw. Really good. Let's come into a downward dog. Tuck the toes, send the hips high. And then we're coming into a hovering tabletop position. So start to lower the knees toward but not onto the floor. And we're looking to sense that the tailbone is in line with the back of the neck. So the hips are quite low by bending the knees. Feel the crown of the head reaching forward, the tailbone drawing back, and slightly the sitting bones drawing down. So you feel your core muscles really engaged there, warming up the shoulders and the wrists as well. Stay with it. One more breath. And then finding some relief in downward facing dog, and this time moving around and enjoying that stretch. Now lifting your right leg up in downward dog with the foot flexed. So the toes point down, a closed hip position. So right hip in line with the left hip. Then squeezing the right knee to your forehead. And as you do that, lower the left knee to the floor. Keeping the left knee down, send the right leg straight back and reach the left arm out in front. Have the left palm facing in like you were to shake my hand, and a feeling of the front ribs slightly drawing in. Then place the left hand down, squeeze the right knee to the nose, and then come back into a three-legged dog, right leg high, left knee off the ground. Do that again. So exhale, squeeze the right knee to your forehead, bring the left knee down. Then as you send the right leg back, reach the left arm forward, balancing tabletop. Feel the lower belly slightly draw in. Try to keep the left wrist up in line with the left shoulder. And then place the left hand down, squeeze the right knee to the nose, and come back to three-legged dog. Right leg high, left knee lifts. One more of those. Exhale, right knee to the forehead, left knee to the ground. Right leg back, left arm forward. Front ribs draw in. As much length between the left hand and the right heel as possible. Then left hand touches down. And this time, reach the right leg up as high as you can, pointing the toes. Bend the elbows so that you're hovering above the floor, not resting on it. and stay there, feeling the strength in your arms start to build, keeping the elbows tucked in. Then a powerful move, straighten the arms, squeeze the right knee to the forehead, and then take a moment of respite in child's pose, or if you'd prefer to be in thunderbolt in kneeling, then you're welcome to do that before we play with those movements on the other side. So let's start by just giving those wrists a little shake, and maybe some of those twinkle, twinkle little star movements as well. Lots of work on the wrists in this practice. Good. And then we'll head into tabletop position once again. So bringing the hands to the floor, under the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, come into downward facing dog. Take a breath. And then we'll sweep the left leg up high. Keep the left foot flexed so the left toes are pointing down at the floor. Three-legged dog with closed hips. So that means the left hip is in line with the right hip. Then as you exhale, squeeze your left knee to your forehead. Try to make contact if you can, shoulders coming over the wrists. Then lower the right knee down. Send the left leg back and reach the right arm out in front of you, balancing tabletop. Think length and strength. Bringing the right hand back down to the floor and then squeezing the left knee to your forehead. As you send the left leg back and up, you pick up the right knee and come to three-legged downward dog. Then repeat. So exhaling, left knee to the nose, right knee to the mat, left leg back, right arm forward, balancing tabletop. Keep your eyes steady, your breathing steady, stay focused. Feel the strength building in your body. From there, touching the right hand down, squeezing knee to nose, and then three-legged downward dog, left leg high, right knee lifts. Got one more of those. Squeeze the left knee to the forehead, touch the right knee down, send the left leg back, reach the right arm forward, hold it there. Nice work. Right hand touches down, left knee to the forehead, three-legged downward dog, left leg high. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, left knee to the forehead, right knee to the mat. Send the left leg back, lift it up high, and then this chaturanga modification. So keep the left leg lifted, bend the elbows, keep the elbows hugging into the ribs, hover above the floor, don't rest on the floor. And even if you can't bend your arms that much, just bend them a little bit. So you're building strength. You can do it. Then powerful move, straighten the arms, squeeze the left knee to the forehead before touching both knees down and finding that moment of rest again in child's pose, taking the weight off of your hands, taking a few breaths, noticing how the body is so good at adapting to demands. And then one more time, just finding some relief, some release in those wrists. So lift your arms up, give your hands a good shake. Shake, shake, shake. Okay, if it makes you smile. You need to take it super serious. Maybe some of those twinkle, twinkle little star hands as well. And then, my friends, come back to tabletop position. And then that beloved hovering tabletop. So picking the knees just an inch off of the floor. Keeping your hips in line with the back of the neck. Drawing forward through the crown of the head. So maybe even slightly tuck the chin. Tailbone reaching back, the sitting bones drawing down. Lower belly lifting. Looking great. From hovering tabletop to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in, downward dog. And then we'll ripple forward to high plank pose. So plank on the hands, shoulders shadowing the wrists, hips in line with the shoulders, strong through the legs, eyes towards the ground just in front of the hands. Steady breathing. And you can always do this with the knees down, but as you exhale, lower through chaturanga. So bending the elbows, hover above the floor, and then release to the mat. Take the arms to down by your sides, palms facing up. Lift your legs and lift your chest into this locust pose variation. Keep your chin slightly tucked, draw the shoulders back, and look to keep the feet quite close together so it feels like the big toes are drawing toward one another. See if you can move back through chaturanga, so you can bring the hands to frame the rib cage, tuck the toes, and then push up through plank to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath and then roll forward to plank pose again. So same thing, only this time lift your right leg, and we're not going for a super high lift. So just a low lift of the right leg so that you really feel your left leg start to work a little bit more and your core and your arms start to work a little bit more. Keep the right leg lifted if you can as you lower your chest down through chaturanga. Then coming into that locust again, so arms down by your sides, palms facing up. Lift the legs, lift the chest. Look to keep the legs straight so you're lifting from your hips and not your knees, strengthening the buttocks, the hamstrings, the calves. The shoulders drawing back so the chest is opening, a lovely asana for posture. And then again, seeing if you can kind of reverse through chaturanga. So your feet come down, the toes tuck under, and you press up through plank pose and to downward facing dog. Take a breath and prepare for that on the other side. Ready? Plank pose. Lift the left leg. Remember, it's not very high. We don't want to make this a back bend. This is to really power up the core. It can be done with the right knee on the floor if you need to. Lower the chest and pause. Then release to the ground. Well done. Locust pose. Lift the chest, lift the legs. Keep drawing the legs towards one another. And this one really work for. This is the last one of these, so work for it. Bring the legs up, up, up. Nice. Chest up, up, up. Keep the chin slightly tucked. Fantastic work. And then reverse back through to plank pose and into downward facing dog. Any little movements in downward dog that feel good before starting to travel up to the hands. I'm taking lots of little steps. You might like to hop. A moment just to hang out in the sweetest ragdoll forward fold, swishing around, shake out the head and neck, make any sounds that feel therapeutic. And then coming into Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift the hands to the shins, lift the heart, feel the hips reaching back. It feels like you're making the shape of a number 7 with your body. The tailbone reaching back, the sitting bones slightly pulling down to really strengthen the hamstrings. Lift through the lower belly, and then see if you can reach your arms forwards. Clasp your hands together in Kali Mudra, so all 10 fingers interlace, left thumb on top of the right thumb, index finger points forwards. Keep the arms up in line with the ears. And nothing else changes. So from tailbone to fingertips, you're long, you're strong. Keep the arms as they are. Sit the hips down, lift the chest up, lift the arms up, chair pose, Utkatasana. The feet are apart, so the knees are apart. Take one more breath. Superb. And then release to ragdoll forward fold. Again, any sounds, any movements that feel good. And we've got one more round of that. So lengthen the spine, lift the heart, sitting bones, drawing down, tailbone, reaching back. Lengthen through the crown of the head. The chin is slightly tucked, so you're looking down toward the floor. And then reach the arms forward. You've got this. Clasp the hands together. Point the index fingers away. Left thumb on top of the right thumb for Kali Mudra, fierce goddess. Mudra, fierce goddess energy. Well done. Bend the knees. Lift the arms. Feet are apart, so knees are apart. Strengthen through the shoulders, the spine, the hips, the thighs. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Well done. So From there, lengthen the spine, inhale, and then as you exhale, step the left leg back, lift the chest, the arms for crescent lunge. And then as you exhale, pull your elbows down and push your arms forwards, leaning your chest forwards. And do 3 of those. And with the completion of the third one, come to warrior 2, sweep the left arm back, flatten the left foot. Dancing warrior, so reverse the warrior, inhale, and then exhale, extended side angle pose. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Reverse warrior, breathe in, stay low in the right leg. Exhale, extended side angle, this time stay there. So for extended side angle, I've got my right arm inside my right knee, kind of gently pressing my right knee away, but you can also rest the right forearm on the right thigh. And then a feeling of a slight drawing forward of the hips, kind of pointing the tailbone towards your right heel. From there, we'll bring the left hand down and sweep the right arm up. And you can either stay here, turning the right foot out and coming onto the outside edge of the left foot, or step the right leg back on top of the left foot for side plank pose. Moving from side plank to chaturanga. So bring the right hand down, lower the chest, inhale, lift the heart, upward dog or cobra, and then see if you can move back through chaturanga to plank and then downward dog. Otherwise, straight to downward dog is fine. Take a few breaths in, downward facing dog. Lovely. Now, lift the right leg up high, inhale. And as you exhale, bring your shoulders over your wrists, bring your right knee to tap the back of the right arm. Inhale, back to downward dog with the right leg high, 3-legged dog. Exhale, right knee to your nose. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, right knee to the back of your left arm. Right leg high, inhale, knee to nose. Right leg high, inhale. Right knee, right elbow or armpit. Right leg high, breathe in. Breathe out, step the right foot to the hands. The left foot follows. Feet are together now. Come halfway up. Big breath in. Breathe out, fold forward. Hands to the shins, lengthen the spine, make that number 7 shape. Sometimes it's quite nice to pick up all 10 toes for a moment, lifting through the toes, lifts through the arches. And then again, try reaching the arms forwards, interlace the fingers. Kali Mudra, fierce goddess mudra. Wrists in line with the shoulders, shoulders in line with the hips. Then bend the knees forward to Katasana, chair pose. The feet are together now, so the knees are together. The arms are reaching up high, the hips sitting down low. And then exhale, forward fold. It's a powerful movement, so well done. Lengthen your spine, breathe in. Then step the right foot back and move through 3 or so of these crescent lunge, sweeping movements. So as you inhale, you lift the chest, the arms up. As you exhale, you pull the elbows down and you press the arms away. I just think it feels really therapeutic. Like you're breathing anything away that you need to. And then from that third one, head into a warrior 2. So sweep the right arm back, stay low in the left leg, flatten the right foot to the floor, and move through your dancing warrior. So from a reverse warrior to extended side angle. Reverse warrior to extended side angle. And with the third one, you hold extended side angle pose, thinking about a lovely straight line from the outer edge of the right foot through to the right hand. Left arm maybe nudging the left knee back a little. Then can you bring the right hand down to the floor and reposition the feet so the left foot turns out. You might come onto the outer edge of the right foot and you can stay there. Or you might like to step the left leg back on top of the right for side plank pose. Great for strengthening the wrists, the shoulders, the core. Think about the line of your body here, head to heels, one lovely line. Sometimes it's tempting to kind of push the bottom back. And then when you're ready, land the left hand down, lower through chaturanga to upward facing dog. And you can go straight to downward dog, but if you want to move back through chaturanga, you tuck the toes, bend the elbows, push up to plank, and then downward facing dog. A couple of breaths. You can always rest if you need to. You needn't wait for me to make that suggestion. And then we'll bring the left leg up high, so three-legged dog, inhale. Exhale, left knee to the back of the left arm. Left leg high, inhale. Exhale, left knee to your nose. Left leg high, inhale. Exhale, left knee to the back of the right arm. Just two more. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, left knee to your nose. And inhale, left leg high. Exhale, left knee to the back of the left arm. You did it. Left leg high, breathe in, breathe out, left foot to the hands. Well done. Right foot to the hands. Come halfway up. And then exhale, fold. Come all the way up this time. Inhale, lift the heart, head, arms. Breathe in and breathe out. You can bring the arms to down by your sides. So I'm going to take a little step back. So I've got a bit more space in front of me. You might want to do the same. And I'm going to give lots of options with this next set of movements. We're starting in chair pose. So feet together, knees together. Bend the knees, the hips coming down. Reach the arms up high. Have a feeling of weightiness to the tailbones. The tailbone maybe slightly tucks under. And then from there, can you sit all the way down, bring your bottom to the floor and come to Navasana. So Navasana, we're sort of balancing on our sitting bones, lifting the knees, the feet off of the floor, option to hold the backs of the legs if you need to, but knees together, feet in line with the knees or higher, and really lift your heart up. From Navasana, we come to Malasana, yogi squat. You might need to rock or use hands to help yourself get there, but you bring your feet to the floor about the width of the mat, elbows inside of the knees, eyes towards your fingertips. Keep lifting the heart and using the elbows to press the knees away from one another. And then we're going to play with a fake crow pose, like a perched crow. So bring your hands to the floor in front of you, your knees as high up the backs of your arms as you can get them. Start to shift your weight into your hands, your elbows will bend, but keep your feet on the floor. After holding that for a few breaths, you bring your feet back down, feet together, and return to Utkatasana, chair pose. Stay low in your chair pose, challenging the strength of the thighs. Then prepare for Navasana, so sit all the way down. Use your hands if you need to, bottom to the floor. Hold the backs of the legs if you need to. Keep lifting the heart and think about bringing the knees toward the chest toward the knees. Nice work. Can you lift from there to Malasana, to yogi squat? Use your hands if you need to. Do a rock or two to get yourself there if you need to. Option to stay in yogi squat, to play with that perched crow pose, again keeping the feet on the floor. If you have a cushion or a bolster nearby and you're feeling a little bit uncertain about how crow pose is going to go, you might like to place that in front of you on the mat so it feels like a soft landing pad for your head. Knees to the backs of the triceps. And then bending the elbows a little, bringing your weight into your hands. Keep your eyes slightly forward and squeeze your heels toward your bottom for Bakasana, crow. Then let's return to chair pose. Let go of how well or not that went. The falling is part of learning, remember? And from chair pose, again, sitting all the way down. Navasana, bottom to the floor, feet together, knees together. Chest up, corners of the mouth up. So option this time, if you want to come to an inversion, we can rock back and come to shoulder stand. Okay, so you rock back, you rock your knees over your forehead, you support your back in your hands, and then maybe send the legs up for the ceiling. Or from Navasana, you could come to Malasana again, yogi squat, then to crow pose, working on crow pose again. And for those of you who are confident with headstand, crow pose can be a fun entry point for headstand. You can either come out of crow and find your way into headstand, or you can slowly lower your head to the floor and then start to lift the knees off of the backs of the arms. I want to emphasize that this is not the class to be learning headstand in. This is, if it's in your practice, if you're confident and competent with it and want to play with going upside down, the alternative, as mentioned, is shoulder stand. So wherever you're at, breathe, stay focused, try to find a quality of steadiness. And even if steadiness doesn't come physically, we can stay steady in our breath, steady in our mind, steady in where our eyes land. The exit of shoulder stand or headstand is slow and controlled, and then just take a rest. Maybe it's laying on your back, maybe you're coming to child's pose, but both of those postures are quite powerful. So it's nice just to take a moment and breathe and feel into the aftermath. We've got a little cameo from my dog here. He always likes to check in on me after I've gone upside down. Okay, friends, so we're going to meet sat on our bottoms with our legs outstretched in front of us, Dandasana. Some of you might like to sit on a folded blanket. You bring your hands to the floor on either side of your hips, flex your feet, spread your toes, slightly press your hands into the floor, drawing your chest up, your chin down, and then play with squeezing your pelvic floor muscles, Mula Bandha, and then maybe slightly drawing the navel in. Now you can stay there. That can be a wonderful stretch and a very energizing posture when you work with the bandhas, the lift of the pelvic floor, the drawing back of the navel, the chin toward the collarbones. Or you can take Paschimottanasana, reaching forward, taking a hold of the big toes, and then lengthening the torso forwards and down along the legs. Really deep breaths here. I always think the breath feels quite panoramic here as you breathe into the sides of the ribs and you breathe into the back. And then when you're ready to lift the chest, bring the knees into the chest, maybe still holding the big toes, and if not, take a hold of them. And try this Navasana variation, extending the legs up, still holding the big toes. If the feet are out of reach, another Navasana is wonderful, boat pose, or you can stay in that forward fold if it was feeling like everything you needed. After a few breaths there, let's give ourselves a big hug. Bring your feet to the floor, wrap your arms around your shins, chin to chest, forehead toward the knees. Cradle yourself into the safety of the home of your own body. So we're going to take some restorative postures. You'll need a bolster if you don't have a bolster, a couple of nice cushions, or even a rolled up towel or blanket would work. So you lay down on your back. You start with your legs bent, your feet flat on the floor, lift your hips up in the air, and then slide your bolster or your pillows or your rolled up this or that underneath you, underneath your sacrum. So I always think of the sacrum as sort of where our back becomes our bottom. And this should end up feeling like our hips, maybe even our belly button, is the highest part of our body. If it feels like the ribs are the highest part of the body, and obviously I'm generalizing because all body shapes are slightly different. If it feels like the ribs are the highest, you might just want to play with maybe bringing the support down a little bit underneath the pelvis and then outstretch the legs as I have. If you want to, you can also keep the legs bent and then sweep the arms overhead as I have, or you might like to have the arms out wide to the sides or even rest your hands on your body somewhere. Then close your eyes and breathe. And after you've spent what feels like sufficient time there, and it might feel like that's everything that you need right now, so you're welcome to stay there and skip this next restorative posture. I'm now taking my bolster so it goes lengthways, it's portrait down the length of the mat. My bottom is on the floor and I lay back over the bolster, so the bolster kind of traces along the length of my spine. So this works best with a bolster. If you have kind of makeshift pillows and whatnot, you might stay in the posture that you were in just before. And then my legs are in butterfly stretch, soles of the feet together, knees apart. That's optional. You could also have your legs bent or outstretched. My arms are outstretched to the sides, elbows resting into the floor. Again, eyes closed, breathing smooth and steady. And give yourself time here to let go of any gripping. So notice if you're balling the hands into fists, if you're pulling a funny face, just relax the jaw, relax around the eyes. We're going to close our practice today with some breath of fire and meditation. Breath of fire, I always find, is done best seated. So take your time, but let's meet in a comfortable seated position in a few moments. And then when you're there, with one hand resting on your belly, like belly button or slightly lower, and the other hand resting on your knee, take a few deep breaths and feel how your belly presses into your hand as you inhale and how your belly draws kind of in, almost away from your hand as you exhale. And that's a fundamental part of breath of fire, that the belly pulls in as you exhale. When you're ready, take a breath in and then begin pumping exhales through the nose. Emphasize the exhales. The inhale should just happen. So this isn't a forceful exhale and a forceful inhale. It's just a forceful exhale with a rebound of an inhale. The belly pulling in as you breathe out. See how many you can do. If you lose your rhythm, you stop, take a breath, and then join back in. But essentially, something like that, that sort of rhythm. Exhale, 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 exhale. Keep going, nearly there. Go for about 10 more repetitions. And then exhale completely on the last one. Then inhale, inhale, inhale as much as you can. Hold your breath in, eyes closed. Holding your breath in, engage Mula Bandha, your pelvic floor. And behind your closed eyes, turn your gaze up toward the crown of the head. Feel energy moving up. Kundalini energy rising from the tailbone up to the crown. When you need to exhale, you don't need to wait for me to say. Just open the mouth and let the breath pour out. And then take a few moments to breathe normally. Well done. Let's try that one more time. So if you enjoyed or found it useful having a hand on your tummy, place one hand on your tummy and then take a breath in and start those pumping exhales through the nose. The exhales are very powerful, the belly snapping back towards the spine with the exhale, and there's a rebound of an inhale that you don't force, it just sort of happens. Breath of fire is great for strengthening the lungs, can be stimulating for the digestive system, can be strengthening for the core. Sometimes you can actually feel your core muscles working when you practice this. It's great for focus and for stress relief. Keep going, pumping the belly in as you breathe out. If you lose it, don't worry, you stop, take a breath, and then join back in. And again, go for about 10 more repetitions. And with the 10th one, when you get there, you exhale completely, then inhale deeply, hold your breath in, engage your pelvic floor. Behind your closed eyes, turn your gaze up as if you were staring out of the crown of the head. And then when you need to exhale, let it go. And now we come to about a minute or so of just meditation. My suggestion is to stay as you are in seated, hands resting on the knees, but you're also welcome to lie down. With your eyes closed, relax your shoulders, relax your facial expression. Let your breath become natural and effortless, so you're not trying to breathe really deeply. But to yourself in your mind, following your breath, as you breathe in, say to yourself, I am inhaling 1. And as you breathe out, say, calmly, I exhale. Then I am inhaling 2, and calmly, I am exhaling. See if you can count all the way up to 30, 40, maybe 50, maybe 60. And if a thought intrudes and interrupts, and you lose your count, calmly, you just start over. Now releasing the meditation from your mind, take a moment to just be. And then when you feel ready to, bringing your hands to meet in prayer pose, bowing your head to your heart, bowing to the strength of your body, and with so much gratitude from me to you, namaste.